In Unit 6 for the Algebra 2 statistics, there's a project that students will be assigned on response bias. And this is actually assigned during the first week. And students will have already seen some lessons on types of bias and also a few graphical displays for categorical data. But part of the project is that they're going to design an experiment, and the experiment lessons are going to come a couple of days after. So you'll assign during the first week so they can start thinking about what question they may want to answer. And then at the end of the unit, they'll be able to have a couple of days for presentations. So on the student pages, you'll find the instructions for the project, and they basically could either work by themselves or with a partner, and they're going to conduct an experiment to answer a question. So in the first section, it's going to give all of the sample questions that they have to answer. It says they have to answer at least one of those, and most of that is related to bias that they've already seen in a couple of the previous lessons. They will have to turn in a proposal, and in the proposal, they'll have to formally describe what they're doing and really be mindful about the actual project itself. And then the final project or the presentation that they will do will be based on a poster that they create with all of the information. So all of the parameters are there on the student pages. If you look on the teacher pages, then you will also see a grading rubric. And so this is going to break down into the intro, data collection, and they will be collecting their own data, any graphs or summary statistics that are included, and the conclusions that they made after the experiment, and then their presentation, which is the poster. So what I wanted to review is maybe just a couple of types of data that kids might have. And the first is categorical. So categorical data is something that could usually be represented in a two-way table. So I came up with a sample question: would you use the local library more, even if it means you would have to pay monthly dues? So I tried to think about families, and if they had kids or didn't have kids, then maybe that would that maybe they have a different feeling about the library because of that. So this would really be a yes or no question. And so you would want kids to give the actual data, and then they can choose a type of display. So for categorical data, they might choose a segmented bar chart, and they will have seen this on one of the previous lessons on advertisements and the bias. They could also choose a side-by-side bar chart. So they would want to break that down by their two categories here. I have kids or no kids. And then within that, the responses were either yes or no. So same information here. We have kids and no kids. And then we have the percentage that said yes and the percent that said no for each category. Kids may also come up with a question that involves quantitative data, so data that's measured by a number. So a sample question is, how much are you willing to pay for a haircut if you know the stylist is in school? So I actually thought of this in terms of males and females, and I gave a histogram. I just have the one for males, but they would also want to have a second histogram displaying the female data. Or another choice of graphical display might be parallel box plots. So you can see the male information is on the top, and it looks like they have a couple of outliers, and then the female information is on the bottom. Now, the histograms and box plots can be created in Desmos, but students could also use Excel or Google Sheets for some of the graphical displays, even if it's for the categorical data above. For the summary statistics, they would want to include the mean and standard deviation, and then the 5-number summary, which is the minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. So that would be for the quantitative data. And then I also have a couple of posters for student samples. And on the first poster, we can already kind of tell that this is going to be categorical data based on the graphical display. So these are going to be the side-by-side bar charts. And notice they have a two-way table here with the data. So the question the student answered was, would you eat this hamburger? So they could present their findings in class. The second project is called Wait, What? And this is going to be quantitative data, although I can't really see exactly all of the data values. They did include the original data, but I can tell this is quantitative because of the parallel box plots. And then they also did 2 individual histograms for side-by-side histograms. So this might be a fun project for them to think of something creative, and the purpose of the proposal rather is so that you can really check to see if the data is going to be good. You want to try to have them pick a topic where you might have a wide range of answers and not just the same answer for each person, especially when it's quantitative data. So I hope you guys have fun with this project, and check the student pages and the teacher pages for more information.